Welcome, welcome. So I just turned off the notifications and now I can see that they didn't turn off at all. They're just right there. So what can you do? Fuck it. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me to the first Ask Me Anything free coaching call. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead and do a quick introduction of myself so that if you don't know who I am and you're watching this either live or recorded, you'll know a little bit more. I'm Anna K. Morris. I am a transformation coach and public speaker. I've been doing this work for 15 years. I don't know if people still say like I hung out the shingle. I think I've been unofficially coaching family and friends without their consent at times for the last 15 years, but probably officially since, I mean, it's not really official, right? But I started my first kind of coaching program in at the start of COVID. And I coach specifically about like creativity and you tapping into that little voice deep down within you that's actually dying to guide your life. And when you tap into that, your life flows so much faster. It's so much easier. It's so much more delightful. And I teach you how to pull out that little voice and have it run more of your life so that you can have more joy and ease and grace. So that's a little bit about me, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for you. So let's go ahead. Jennifer, I don't know if you have gotten too far into your cooking, but if you're available, I would love to have you ask your first question if you're game.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Hi. Okay.
So the question that I sent you in the form,
yep.
and you sort of know everything
going have on it right here.
Yes, right.
Well, you know what? How about I do that? Let me just read it.
Okay.
And then that way, we'll just, here we go.
I tried to keep it as concise as I could.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'll read it and then if you need to add anything to, what I'm saying, to give, people often think that context is necessary. It's not. It's really not. Coaching is going to be the coaching, right?
Okay.
So I like people like really, so we love our stories. Man, do we think they're the truth, And so I find that sometimes all the stories can get in the way of like the meat. Make sense?
I was talking to you, but I was muted. Yes. That's true. Yes,
okay, good.
Right?
I was like, oh, she didn't like that at all.
No, it's true. And I very much get into that. And I, tend to weave the story out and make everything mean something. Everything's a big thing that it means. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then you're tired before you even get to any work.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. So, you know what? So this is designed to like give you a taste of what it's like to work with me and also like give you as much guidance and help and tools as I possibly can. So I would be remiss if I didn't start the way I always start, which is with like just a moment of grounding. So let's all close our eyes. I recognize that like I need it. Like if you have shoes on and barefoot is better, like for me, it's always better. I'm always better if I'm sitting Indian style. So I'm getting Indian style. So like get comfortable. So
okay, I'm starting video and I'm sitting down.
Yeah, let's just, you know what? Like everybody has a few minutes to just take some time for yourself. Let's just close our eyes and get present, right? It's only what, 9:10 Central Time, could be even earlier if you're Pacific. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I promise you, just this little moment of like quiet will make all the difference. Close your eyes. And go ahead and start rubbing your hands together. Create some heat. I can go a little bit faster. Take a big inhale up overhead. Keep rubbing. Exhale, come down. 2 more. Inhale up overhead. Exhale down. 1 more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Release your hands and place your hands somewhere that you need some extra love, maybe over your eyes, or your ears, or your shoulders. There's no wrong answer. I want you to feel your body. That's the only answer here. Start to sink into your breath. Maybe having it be a little more dramatic, a little longer, a little deeper. Two more just like this. Last one. And with your eyes closed, go ahead and release your hands. Bring your palms together. Maybe you touch your thumbs together and your fingers together to make a circle. That's how I like to kind of start my day, as a symbol to remember that it's all connected, that we're all just in a loop, looking for more joy, more happiness, more ease. And take a moment to honor yourself for what it took to be here right now, to show up, to ask the questions, to listen fully. And see if a word or a picture pops into your head. Apparently that happened for my dog, who just let out a huge groan. So he's feeling it. So with that word or that picture, if you have a notebook nearby, you may want to jot it down. Mine is peace and ease. And that's my intention for this time together. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Okay, and we'll get started. So that's how I start everything, because doesn't it feel different now? It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. You good, Jennifer?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay, so the question that you'd emailed me is, I might not know how to, no, okay. So we've talked about how's,
Oh, it's
how can I
My-
make
my
our home
daughter.
peaceful? No, I haven't. How can I make our home peaceful even when my daughter isn't? And how can I encourage her to do the things that make her life better?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that still the question, or do you have something else that you want to ask or that you want to add to?
No, I mean, I think maybe that is the basis of the question, right? Like maybe
Yeah,
there are people, yeah, I'm very worried. I'm really, really worried. I'm really worried. But there are people maybe in other people's lives, just kind of like all around, that you can't control them. How do you keep peace even when the people that you live with are maybe not peaceful?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great question. I live with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. They're not peaceful.
That is a great, timely question
That's a very timely question. We
for the way
literally have
this house was this morning, or has been.
we have a babysitter here right now. We're like, go outside.
Yes.
We're like, get out, go outside. So yeah. Okay, so it's really easy. I shouldn't say, let me say this differently. It's very simple and it's not easy. It's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done.
Oh, thanks. That's
Yeah.
great.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
you be peaceful. It's so simple. Because so this will get a little bit into like energy, but if you just hang with me here. So when you're resuscitated back to life, right? They shock you with the pads, yeah? They put them on your chest and they bring you back with energy. So can we all agree that like we're energy?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're energy, then we can only ever be on the energetic field that we're a match for.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me give you a little bit of an example. You would only ever accuse somebody of cheating or of stealing if you yourself have cheated or stolen.
Right.
If you are not a person who has cheated, then it wouldn't even occur to you. Right?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So it's just like, because that's what you're a match for, because it's happened before, or
Mhm.
you've done it, right? Like I would never, so my sister and I used to like steal a little bit in high school, and just like makeup from the drugstore. And I can remember her like having a swimsuit, like this gorgeous Ralph Lauren swimsuit. I mean, if my mom was watching, like she was gonna be mad at me. And I was like, oh my God, where did you get that swimsuit? And then I immediately was like, oh, you stole it. Like I knew. But I knew because I had done, like, it was such a mismatch for like what the money that I knew she had versus the swimsuit that she had was like not a match. And because I was somebody who had stolen, I knew, like, and that is what happened, right? So that's my point. Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, sis and mom.
We won't tell.
I know. Ask me anything, please.
Oh crap. Right.
Mm. So you're a match for what you are. Good news and bad news, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that's true because I mean that's true. And certainly when I was Evangelin's age, I was definitely on the same continuum. Yeah.
And you turned out okay, right?
I think so. I mean, I think so.
I think so.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. You're getting caught up in what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And what you have to remember is she's going to be okay. And that's all there is to do. And so if you want peace in your house, you be peaceful. So last night, we had a really long day. We went to Austin. We went to my uncle's ranch. Like it was a really long, really great day. Such a great day. And I came home and I started doing transcendental meditation. And it's been challenging to fit it in because you're supposed to do it before dinner. So I told Derek, I was like, can you be with the boys? And I'm going to go and do a 20-minute meditation. And he was like, absolutely. And I sit down. I hadn't even started the clock yet. And Jack screamed and Derek screamed back at him. Sorry, Dee. And I was like, see, that's what we're not a match for. Derek just matched Jack's energy. So now Jack is running the house, essentially.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. I do see
So
that.
it could be
Yeah.
either or. It's a chicken or the egg, right? No,
Maybe I
yeah.
could jump in and share a story. Can I
Yeah.
share a story? Because I think it will land this. And this is also what I really love about like doing this kind of group thing too is
it's the best.
it was, I don't know, it's just a month ago or so. And Jack had a great day. And then in the evening, he just kind of spun
It
out
was
of
just too
control.
much. Yeah.
Totally spun out of control. And I was really frustrated by it. I mean, I just don't like screaming and running around the house. And he's 3, and that's what's going to happen. And I yelled back at him, told him to, stop yelling. I screamed at him. I was doing literally acting like a 3-year-old. And he just got even worse. Like he just totally, like he matched my energy. He went totally crazy. And I was sitting I went to the bedroom and had some quiet time with myself. And I realized that the reason he acted the way he did is because of the way my energy was. He was totally feeding off of my energy. And
Mhm.
Anna was in the other room with him. And I said, you know, Anna, can you please ask Jack to come in here? And she said, no, he's busy, blah, blah, blah. And I said, please have Jack come see his, you know, come in here. He's fine. I said, please have Jack come see his dad. And so he comes in there and I said, Jack, I am so sorry. I said, you've had a really great day and daddy got frustrated and daddy's tired and I yelled at you and that wasn't very nice and it really hurt your feelings. And, you know, I don't think I used the word stressed him out because I don't think he understands that, but his energy changed immediately.
And instantly.
My energy changed and it's almost like he just was a puddle, you know. It was mind-blowing, right? I'm 46 years old and I'm just realizing like, wow, it was me, I was the source of it and I have the power to change it.
Mhm.
And the thing to say is, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The way I was being was stressful for you and I'm going to do better. Right? Because it's all about creating an environment for the people we love. And we are the ones that create the environment.
Yeah.
So I hope that illustrates, I think,
Does.
what she's saying.
Well, it does, because I mean, that's entirely true, right? Like that's definitely what happens. Like, and it's also built on, you know, we've had problems for kind of an extended period of time. So when this happens, we know that this is going to happen, and then the next thing happens.
Okay.
And so before it
There
ever
you go.
even gets there, yeah,
That's it. Okay.
everybody's already spun up before it ever even goes anywhere.
Because you're not living you're not living in the present.
Right.
It then creates your future. You put the past right back here, you put it right into your future, because what you
Yeah.
just said is key. We already know what's going to happen. You just had it all play out like that.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
see the contribution that you are to creating that you don't want?
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So
So then how?
yeah. So what's the interruption?
Okay.
What's
Well,
like
good
that
news.
tangible moment?
Great news.
Okay.
Great news. You're on this call right now. So
Okay.
you can't deal with alcoholism if you don't admit you're an alcoholic.
Right.
Right? Like you would have to know, like, oh, somebody doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And then you go from the not feeling good, which is where you've been, to
Yeah.
this feels so bad that now I'm willing to take an action.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've taken the action. You didn't just take the action. You're also in my coaching program that starts June 5th. So
Yes, I
you took,
know.
like, that's a huge action. You've got your money and your time on the line. So you've now like put a deposit for your future looking different. You
Right.
follow me?
Yeah.
So already the landscape is changing. You might not see it, right? You might not feel it just yet, but I would say that it's different than it was 6 weeks ago. If I were to look out and, kind of look at your life. Fair?
I do think that's fair. Yeah, I do think that's fair. Yes.
The thing is, like, Evangeline didn't get here by herself.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's true. You're right. Yeah.
So I'd really like to teach a class that I think like lots of people will hate me for. And it's called Your Kids Aren't the Problem, You Are.
Yeah, that's the bad title.
I know.
Like, let's
But
find
that's essentially
find a better
that's
title.
essentially what I'm saying.
But no, like that's not wrong.
I
It's
know.
not wrong.
My mom has been a preschool teacher for 30 years. Like,
Right. Yeah.
plenty of
Yeah.
evidence.
Well, and it's also like why parents feel guilty all the time too, right? Because we know that, right? Like we know that. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
So here's the thing. Let's just go back to like neutralizing it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Jay Wolf. So happy to have you. Hello. You're just a match for what you're getting, right?
Okay.
So energetically, like you've got it that she's you and it was hard and all these different things. And like there was a lot of strife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so like you've decided that it's this way.
Okay.
And now you're making her wrong about it.
Wait, help
It's not
me
in a mean way. It's not in a mean
Right.
way, but like there's just there's a lot of what I'm reading, and then also when we've spoken, but like what I'm reading is like you're coming from a place of like there's a problem,
Yeah.
this is wrong,
Yeah.
it's not, you know, but all of that, can you hear what's underneath all of that is judgment.
Yes. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the part, that's the rub for her. Because
Okay.
how would it feel to live in a home that you're always judged in?
Okay.
It would be like a caged animal. You would be like acting
Well,
out,
right.
right, which is what I think is happening.
Well, okay. And then, okay, right. And I'm with you on that. And I agree with you on that. But what do we do with we do have to have
No.
the standards, no.
What?
No.
Okay, so no, you don't. I mean, you made up the standards. The standards are fucking made up. Like they're standard by what standards? Like
Well,
you,
yeah, but
okay,
okay.
so hang with me.
Okay. All right.
I mean, so it's baby steps. And the first
Okay.
one is that you probably need to clean it up with her.
Okay.
Like, respond, because you can only control you. You're never going to control, you're never, ever, ever. It's never going to happen. Ever, never, never.
Okay.
Just not. You can pretend, you can fight against it, you can disagree with me, you can, you know, drop out of the coaching program, we can never talk again, fine. It's still not going to change that, like, you can't control her.
Yeah.
And also you don't want to.
Right.
You don't actually want to.
No.
And you
Right.
are forgetting that she's going to be okay. And she's doing it the way she needs to do it. And all you need to do is love her.
Well,
And so, like,
okay.
this is what I would like for you. And you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. And you're going to have
Yeah.
to let go. Trust me, we went through this. My sister went, you know,
I know.
I mean, my mom had some really hard decisions to make with rehab and like some very life-threatening situations. And she was afraid of losing, you know, my sister, and we all were. And at the end of the day, like, it's her path. It does not make it easy. It does not make this, you know, that's why I said it's simple, but it's not easy.
Well, so what do I just,
You just clean it up, say you're sorry, get what you're like, be responsible for like the judgment that you've had, and tell her that you love her
okay.
and see what happens. Because leading with an I'm sorry
Yeah.
radically changes the playing field.
Okay. But so then what? Just step back and let whatever the consequences are happen?
Correct. Correct.
Oh, Anna.
Yeah. And you be the example and you work on your life. And maybe go do something together. Find something that's fun together. Go do something together where she can succeed, where she can where y'all can connect. Maybe it's cooking or, you know, playing music or art or something. Like say, hey, can you drop your screen down so I can see the bottom of your face?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry,
Okay.
I took it off where I can't actually see myself
Very
anymore.
good. That's really what there is to do, is like be a human with her. And you're probably going to have to forgive her, and you're going to have to forgive yourself too. And it might not get better before it gets worse. And this is the part that everybody's trying to avoid.
Yeah.
I know. Except like, didn't your house get real messy before it got real pretty?
Yeah.
Why do we expect our lives to be any different? Like spinning your wheels trying to avoid pain. The faster way is just sometimes through the pain. I mean, I had a stomach bug for 6 days. I leaned right into it. I was like, looking back, I was like, I probably should have gone to the doctor on like day 2, but I didn't know it was going to be that long.
Yeah.
I had no idea. On day 4, I went to the doctor, but like, I needed that amount of time to deeply rest.
Yeah.
And as a result, I came out cleaner and clearer than I've ever been before. It was rough, but in the grand scheme of things, I was holding on to a lot of beliefs and mindsets that didn't work, that like my body was actually cleansing. So I'm not saying this like now it's going to be great with Evangeline. I am not saying that. But your resistance and your trying to avoid it getting bad is the actual pain that you're experiencing. Because the worry and the fear that you have is like weight that you're carrying, like 200 pounds that you're carrying around.
Yeah.
You with me?
Okay. So like on a practical level, like she comes in and like throws something on the floor and makes a huge mess and says something rude and stomps out. Like what's my reaction on that?
I mean, is that what normally happens?
That's a pretty normal come home from school kind of day. Like get in the car, say something super unpleasant, and either not talk. And like, so in fact, like the drive home from school has become,
Don't pick her up anymore.
well, we don't like somebody has, well, I mean, school's over now, so I guess it's kind of moot.
I was like, it also doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. But okay, so toward the end, this
Just say you're
did
not
happen
available
one
for
day.
it. Like you're just not available for that. And
Okay,
actually don't participate in it.
just don't, okay.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Okay.
Just say, I'm not available for that. If you're going to continue down that rhetoric, I'm going to start, I mean, you can start taking things away. I have a 3-year-old, so like that's
Right.
one method, but I'm sure you could take things away.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And there just aren't any consequences. And what I say is that like, if I'm not having a great time in my house,
Yeah,
then we're not doing it.
right.
Period. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I don't,
Because
yeah.
it's at the end of the day, like this is my life and I'm going to have a great time. So if there's something that the kids are doing that's not working, then there's just a new way to figure it out. Yeah. There's just like, I don't clean up after my 3-year-old because I'm like, hey, guess what? I know that you love being a good helper. Like I need help. So let's look at the things that like I can have you help me with around the house. So he puts his clothes in the dirty clothes hamper. He puts his trash in the garbage. He puts his dish in the sink. He's 3.
Yeah.
So there's that. And if
Okay.
that hasn't been instilled yet, then all there is to do is like get responsible for it and say like, Evangeline, I've been pretending like this is okay with me and it's not. And there are certain things that need to happen in order to like all live here. And this might not work for you. But let's figure out like what works and what doesn't work. Like what we can agree on.
Okay.
And then just put it on the fridge.
Right. And then okay, so all right. So because
And then
like
if you don't do those things, then there are consequences, and these are the consequences. And it's just black. It's not like there's not anything to be upset about or whatever, because you're making it mean something. It's just she did it or she didn't do it. That's it.
She did it or she didn't do it. And then the consequences are what they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like all like that you're so involved in it is the problem. You're making it mean something. You're making it mean something about you. That you're not a good parent.
Because yeah.
This isn't
No,
with her. Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
No, I know.
It's not.
So a way to clear the playing field, especially if you are in a situation where you're fearful of the exchange. Hi, Sugar Pie.
Now it's because I can have it at the dinner.
Hi, everybody. I have a 3-year-old here. You can have it when we go to summer fun. This is the toy at hand. Yep, this is a lollipop on the end of it. And Jack Morris, here you go, take it. Oh, I'll take it. You play with it, and then you can have it in the car on the way to summer fun. Okay, sorry guys. So writing a letter is a very, very, very nice way, and you're a writer, so that's great. Yeah. It's just to write a letter, and you may want to give it to her and you may not.
Okay.
You might want to write a really, really, really bad one and then write a different,
Okay.
right? So this is why I journal every day for 45 minutes, because like you got to get the gunk out, and there's just a lot of gunk. That's all, right? So you're just like, you know, when you clean a mirror and you're like, holy shit, I had no idea it was that dirty.
Yeah.
You just started cleaning the mirror. But a big part of it is that like, that you're actually the source. And once you get that, like, while that sucks, it's also incredibly powerful, right? Because you have control over your choices and you can choose differently.
And I wonder how I let it get this bad, like how it got this bad.
I wouldn't spend any time worrying about that. All that matters is that you're here now. Because again, if you keep looking back here, you keep putting it out here,
Yeah.
right? You guys know what I'm talking about when you're on a vacation and you're already like doing the laundry from 3 days, you know, you're already like stressed out in the airport or whatever, like you're still on vacation. You still have like a day or 2 left. You're already like, oh my God, I'm gonna have 1,000 emails and I'm gonna have all this laundry and all this stuff. And like, you're actually missing your vacation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's why I'm like, I don't have a very good memory and I don't take a lot of pictures because I'm like, I'm just looking at the future. Like, let's, you know.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Yeah. Yes. And I'm sorry, I'm going to let other people talk. I'm taking notes, but I'm muting up. We're going to let Crystal,
Okay.
we're going to let other
I
people.
love you. Great work. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Anna.
Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. And if you have any follow-up, let me know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Love y'all.
Okay. Love you too. Crystal, you want to unmute yourself? Asked to unmute. Okay, let's do it. Oh, you did. Hi there.
Okay. Oh. Is that, well, no, that doesn't help. I'm in
There you go. Perfect. Okay, great.
Hi, I haven't seen you in so long.
I know. It's so good to see you.
Our Thrive Days in Houston.
I know, forever, but it also feels like just yesterday sometimes.
I know. That was the best time of my life. It got me through a really rough patch and met some wonderful people. Hi, Derek.
Oh, baby Dean is here.
Aw. Well, I don't have a specific question, but I just wanted to share with you that your videos have been so powerful and have resonated with me like to a T, every single one of them. Like they have just really hit home, and your vulnerability and your ability to communicate and share has just really meant a lot to me.
Oh, thank you.
I've been going through a really rough time, and I feel like I like how you said you don't need backstory, so that's good. But basically, my life is Groundhog Day. You know, every day it's the same. I'm like, and I guess if I did have a question, it'd be, how do you really break the pattern?
Well, great news. You just did. You're here with me right now. You've been watching my videos. I make those videos, by the way, assuming that they will never be seen. It's the only way I can do it. I'm like, no one will ever watch these videos. I can say whatever the fuck I want, right?
And I love that about you.
And then I'm like, oh my God, you're watching those videos. So like when you say that, I'm like, oh shit, oh, somebody has watched. So, you know, good news and bad news, right? So the way that you get out of Groundhog Day, because girl, I feel you. That was my whole life in New York for a decade. And it can be again right now, like it's easy. You just disrupted things by watching my videos, and you didn't just watch my videos, because I have a lot of people watching my videos and nobody reaches out. Not nobody, but the majority don't. And you did. and you sent the message and you showed up live on the call, not with like a question in advance of like, oh, I can't make it, like you fucking made it. So like already Groundhog Day is not today. And the thing is, Groundhog Day also isn't being done to you. You are manifesting Groundhog Day. So I would say that there's a lack of self-worth, if I had to guess.
Mhm.
Running the undercurrent, like running the thread, whenever I hear like Groundhog Day, it's because like you don't, and I mean, this is pretty bold, so hang with me here. You don't actually think you're worth it. And you don't value that you are. And so you're not doing the things that could get you out. Or, so there's that, and also that you feel a level of hopelessness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
That's why backstory isn't necessary, because these are like really standard human emotions, you know, that we have with, you know, all the things on the list that we said we wanted. You can still feel this way. Yeah. Because it's actually not out here that you're looking for things, it's in here.
Mhm.
It's right in here. It's not anywhere else. Yeah.
I did get that Lewis Hay book that you mentioned, and it's so interesting how all of mine, just whether it's my heart or my stomach or just different aspects, how it just impacts
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
And then that one video that you shot, I mean, every single one of them has resonated with me, but that one in particular about no one is coming, like, whoa, we
don't even know that we're doing that, right? But man, we're doing it.
but I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, no one is coming. And
Yeah.
so
Which is, you know, terrible news, but also really good news, because then now you're in the driver's seat. It's like,
Right.
oh, sometimes I'll think like, why do I have to be the one? Like, why am I always the one? That's,
Right.
you know, sometimes when I get it, when I want to go down that martyr trail of like, why am I the one? And then my little voice is like, because you are.
Mhm.
And what's great about that is when something isn't working, I have the power to change it. Right. But a big part of it is recognizing that I have that power, and that it's that you have the power, and that it's possible to change. Right. Like, until you can actually see that it's possible. And this goes into a really great question that I got from somebody in advance who wasn't able to make it. So I'm going to piggyback this off of this other, let me grab this question real quick, because it actually is, I think, going to answer your question. So the question is, everyone always talks about the fact that you need to change your belief system in order to change your life. It sounds easy, but what's the best way to start that process, right? Because you're like, oh, okay, so if I need to change my belief system, like, how do I do that? Is that something that you've wondered?
Not so much belief system, but maybe just I guess my mindset of, oh, well, I can't start my life until I can't get a house until I have a husband. I can't, the husband, the
Oh,
baby.
you have the either or thing.
The either or. The black and white thinking of, oh, well, my life is going to start when I get married, or when I meet somebody, or when I have that job where I feel like amazing, and it's like, I'm on the rat wheel and I can't get off. So maybe it has, a belief system, I guess when I say
I'm going to table
belief,
that
I think
question.
religion.
Yeah. No,
but-
I'm gonna answer that later, because I don't want
Yeah.
that to infringe
Yeah.
on me answering your question.
Right.
So here's the deal. You can actually have all of that right now.
Yeah.
Because it actually has nothing to do with the guy. It has nothing to do with the house or the kids or the dog or the job, right? You can actually feel that right now. Because here's the thing, if I plopped all of that in your lap tomorrow, I was like, oh, okay, so you want $1 million and the man of your dreams. and a great job and a house, and I gave it to you tomorrow, how do you think that would make you feel? Tomorrow, you have all of it.
I mean, part of me would be like, yes, I got it, but at the same time, I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Wouldn't know what to do with it. And I would assert that you wouldn't actually enjoy it, because the journey of it is what we actually want. Like just the plunking it down in your lap tomorrow, that's not the fun part. The fun part is the adventure of finding the guy, of creating from nothing this dream job that you had no idea even existed, right? Like if you look back at your favorite moments in your life, it's the journey along the way, not the thing at the end. Yeah. Are you with me on this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I was taking some notes.
Oh, okay, good. I just want to make sure this is.
No, I'm.
Yeah. So like we think that it's over there, right? Like I'm the first one to call my own bluff on it. Like I think like we were looking, well, and then the other part, so the big thing that I coach is like to listen to your inner voice as your guide. And we were walking around, this was years ago when we were living in Austin. I was like, I don't know why, but like, this just doesn't feel right. So I started asking the universe, like, where would you have me live? Just where? Like, we're going to do this together. We're going to co-create this great life. And I, am journaling every day to you for 45 minutes. And like, I've got this great, all these things have happened, but this town doesn't feel right. And I'll tell you what, I sure didn't like the answer. I sure didn't like that the little voice when I was walking one day and I said, where would you have me live? That little voice was like right here in the hometown that I grew up in, 2 houses down from my mom. Sure didn't like that answer. The rent was half, the square footage was double, the garage was 2 cars, and the pool was in the back.
Wow.
Every single thing that I said I wanted was right here. And I didn't want to see it because I didn't like what it was being delivered to me. Right? Derek asked me out for 9 fucking years.
Yeah,
9 years. But I didn't get that I was worth it.
Mhm.
It made no difference. He was right there. I have childhood pictures with him from the time I'm 3.
Oh.
I moved to New York for 12 years and had a horrible track record with men and relationships and all of that because I didn't think I was worth it.
Mhm.
And he was there, right there, all along. It wasn't until I loved myself, and I say that, and that's like such a buzzword right now, but like, it wasn't until I had a deep relationship with myself and I got that like my favorite person, I'm already with. Like, I'm here, like I wasn't looking outside of me to have a great time, to be loved, to be valued, to be cherished. I started cherishing myself. So that's what I would say there is to do. So dates with yourself. So, I have a coaching program that starts June 5th. I highly recommend it. It will blow the lid off of your life and everything that you want will be possible. But it's what I said to Jennifer. It's simple. The tools are simple, but they're not easy. You might not like them, right? Except the thing is, you already know what you're getting right now, which isn't working. So I would say you are already making the steps, and there's just a foundational like relationship for you to have with yourself. And that will change your life. And Groundhog Day will feel like Groundhog Day. Well, no, it won't feel like Groundhog Day. My days are often like from a construct the same, but they're not, because it's so much richer. Like I notice the little things. Like it's just like, it's like you think things are black and white, and then it's like what was it, the Truman Show? Or no, that show, Pleasantville. You know what I'm talking about with, this is for so long ago, but like things started getting into color,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Do you know that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. Like even right now, like you're in the dark right now. Your face is dark, you're backlit, right?
Mhm,
Because like there's an element like of hiding out.
mhm.
And then we're just gonna stop that and start getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And you'll look back and be like, Thrive wasn't the best. This is the best. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. I'm so glad I showed up.
I'm so
My
glad.
alarm kept
So-
going off this morning. I kept hitting snooze, snooze, and thought of every reason not to, and
yeah. But see, there was that little voice.
it's ripping the Band-Aid off. So
Yep.
thank you. And I also want to tell Jennifer, thank you for sharing her story. It resonated with me on some different levels with relationships and just.
That's what I love about group. That's why I always coach like.
It's very.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
not
for
alone, and
like
we all have things, whether it's with our parents or children, and I learned a lot just from listening to y'all's two interaction of how I can change my reactions to how I deal with chaos in the house. So
Yes, I love it. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Thank you for being here. And may this be the first of much more. Yeah.
and keep doing the videos.
Oh, I will. I will.
They're important.
Good. Good, good. All right. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got Jay Wolf. Hello. Are you there, honey? Unmuted?
Yes, yes, I'm
Hi
sorry.
there.
I'm just was washing the dishes. My wife left me dinner. So once I got home, I met up. She was waiting for me before I got getting home from work. Because lately I've been riding bicycle to work and back. So I get here a little bit later. But it's time to get endorphins up.
Yeah.
And trying
Good.
to get back in shape.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. No, that's a huge point that you just bring up.
But
And what's your
I'm
name, by the
washing
way?
the
Is it Jay
dishes.
Wolf?
I don't do it that much, but it's like all of a sudden I remember and I see all the dirty dishes. Like, you know what? My wife always cooks. Let me do something. And I forget how stress relief it is to wash the
I
dishes.
love
It's
washing
like
dishes.
my mind just
I know.
frees
I know.
up. And
It's
it's
the
crazy. I
craziest
was
thing.
just and then
No, I literally
listening to
yelled at
your
my husband
friends
the other day. I was like, why don't do the dishes? I want to do the dishes. This is when I have my best ideas.
Yeah, but no, my wife doesn't like to do dishes, but because of our it's just like my time frame. I'm a vampire. I do the graveyard shift. But here's the thing, I can't like I've worked for 15 years for the union, and if they need me in my son's school or my daughter's school, if anything, like even yesterday that I told you that all of a sudden my wife had to go to her class, but my son was sick. I was like, yeah, no worries. I'm almost there and he'll stay with me. Like the benefits of working overnight.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
yeah.
but
Well, so I just
but
want to be mindful of the time. It's 9:55, so we're good for a little bit. And I want to get your question answered. So what's your question? Ask me anything.
that's the thing. There's so much, that I was telling you, my attention deficit disorder gets me just
Do you take medication for it?
talking. No, I don't. No, I don't. And that's what my doctor was telling me. Go to see a psychologist or psychiatrist, and they will let you know. And I'm always like, okay, I write it down, gotta call. Like I'll try to call right after I
So here's the
talk
deal.
with you.
Okay, so here's the deal. And this is, I know you from, the email that you've sent me. So I know you more than just like right now. So I'm going to speak to a little bit to like what I know about you in the email that you sent me.
Okay.
You are clearly very passionate about your family and your kids and your wife. And that is so incredible. Like, that's so like just reading what you wrote, like it's
Thank you.
Like if, I mean, you didn't read this email, but like, it's extraordinary. Like this guy,
Even if my wife is a lights off type of woman, at least she lets me turn on the lights of the hallway.
yeah.
And because she feels so insecure about her. So my wife, by the way, is 10 years older than me. I told you we've been together, married almost 20 years. And we have 2 beautiful children in the autism spectrum. So
Okay,
our
so this
life.
is, so I'm gonna dial it back, right? Because you've already told me about the ADD and ADHD. That you won't make an appointment to see somebody about it when it has such an impact in your life.
I want to. I just keep forgetting.
No, but no. What I want you to do is just make the appointment and then message me when you've made the appointment. Because here's the thing, you're a really amazing dad and you're a really amazing dad. No, listen, but hey, listen, like, I'm not bullshitting you. You're clearly like an incredible father, just like what you've shared with me. You're an incredible father. And that you are that kind of a father with ADD. Imagine the kind of father you will be when that's not running the show.
But I didn't think it that way.
So here's the thing, like you have it over here, like it doesn't matter and I don't make time and whatever, and because you think it's about you. It's not fucking about you. It's about the kind of father and husband you're going to be when you get your shit handled. That's it. So you want to be the most amazing father. You want to be the most amazing husband. You want to be, somebody that's buying a home and not living in your current financial circumstances, all of that. Without the foundation of your health, none of that can happen.
Right.
And what there is to do is to take care of yourself. And I'm just like going to be really, really blunt with you. You know what there is to do and you're not doing it. You're sending me a really, really long email, which is great, except that's the time that you could have booked an appointment.
Well, it was overnight. It was at work.
Okay.
I tell you.
But you could book an
I
appointment
see.
online. Come on. Like, come on, man. Like you could book an appointment online. Give me a break.
Oh, I didn't think of that. You
Yeah.
see? My man.
Like, don't bullshit a bullshitter. Like, I'm the best out there.
By the way, I don't curse. I've never
do.
cursed in my life. So I find it amusing every time you curse in YouTube.
I love cursing. It's great. My husband can't stand it. You know what?
So, well,
I
I was raised by my grandmother. So it was like, it was.
I got you. My grandmother was the one that
never,
taught me how to curse. So, But so here's the deal. Like,
and then the other
imagine-
problem that I was telling you specifically is that you remember that song from Top Gun, You've Lost, obviously is that I haven't lost a
See,
loving
here's the
feeling.
thing. Like, because you're not
Enthusiasm.
dealing with your health. You're just not dealing with your health. That's all there is to do. So whenever something isn't working in your life, this is to everybody, Crystal, Jennifer, everybody that watches this recording. If your life isn't working, it's because you're out of integrity. And I know you have integrity. So when something's not working, like you've told me, like your belief system and you don't have emotions and your integrity is out. All there is to do, this isn't like a judgment thing. It's not like a blame game. All there is to do is put the integrity back in. So the integrity to put in is to take care of your health, is to make the appointment to see the psychologist to see if there's medication that you need. You might not. They might say, hey, you need to exercise every day. The endorphins are going to be enough to help your brain to kind of stabilize. But endorphins, I know I've grown up with, people bipolar and on the spectrum, and endorphins are a huge component, huge component. Food, huge component. And there might be medication that helps you to normalize. But the thing is, what I know, the little that I know about you, if you make it about you, it won't work. If you make it about your kids, you'll probably make the appointment.
That makes sense because
right now you're operating at like maybe 50%, because you've got so much going on that you got to weed through to be a great dad. Imagine if you didn't have to read through that shit. Imagine if you just were like right there faster, more efficient, then you would be making the money that you desire, be buying the house that you desire, all of that. But you've got a lot of gunk to clear out, and you might need medication to help you do that. So there's only one thing for you to do. Make the damn appointment.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well,
That's it. Your coaching is so easy, because here's the deal for everybody. This is a privilege that we get to talk about. Creating a fulfilling life is a privilege. I have traveled extensively to dozens and dozens of third world countries. I mean, I think, were you raised in the Dominican Republic?
partially.
Okay.
I'd say, yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? Like,
California,
this is a privilege. That we live in America is a fucking privilege, right?
Thank God the children are here.
That like we have
They were
clean
born.
water, that we have like access to healthcare, all of these things. And here's the deal. If your health isn't working, that's the first thing you have to address, because it's the foundation of everything, right? It's just the foundation of everything. So will you make the appointment?
Will do. Yes,
Will you
ma'am.
message me when you're done and tell me what time you're making it
Will
for? Okay.
I'll do it right now, right after.
Sounds
I'll
good.
call right now.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that have been sent to me. I've got a few of them right here, and then we will wrap up. Okay, so I love this question. So I read it just before, but I'm going to read it again. The question is, everyone always talks about the fact that you need to change your belief system in order to change your life. It sounds easy, right? But what's the best way to start that process? Well, the first thing, right, just like I said to Jennifer earlier, like you have to, hang on, let me get somebody. You first have to recognize that you have a belief system that doesn't work. So that's the biggest part, is that like you even were to recognize that your belief system is not working. So I have a belief system that I am working on. I don't know that it's done. I think that I think it might be actually that like I can have a great personal life or a great professional life. And I've had like an amazing career, 6 figures, top of the everything in my job. And I was really, really unhappy. And I had all this money and all these awards, and I was really, really unhappy. So what I did not know was happening was I was creating a belief system for myself that I had to be a sellout, that making a lot of money wouldn't make me happy. So I may as well just like not bother. So like it started a belief system that I didn't even realize what was happening. And then I looked for evidence, because we do this, to prove that I couldn't have both. And I would go and say like, oh, well, when so-and-so was at the height of her career, I've done this recently, was at the height of her career, you know, she got a divorce. He couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle it. They had an affair, whatever, right? So for a long time, I collapsed that like I couldn't have the career of my dreams and have a happy marriage. And so I didn't. So I had a really happy marriage, and I did not pursue what I know I'm meant to do, which is to coach you. And then I started a company with my husband because I am really good at helping people kind of take the lid off. And I could see that like he wasn't actually happy as an accountant, and it took some time, but like we traveled around the world, and then he started this amazing company. We started it together, and I pretended like it was enough for me, covering up that like what I really want to be doing is this with you all day long, because I wanted a happy marriage. So you can see that like I did not know that I had that belief system in place. And the way that you start to shift the belief system is absolutely journaling. You know, if you know me at all, you know that I practice what I preach, and I preach and I preach and I preach this. I've been doing it for 15 years. You do 3 pages of free flow journaling every single morning. Every single morning. It takes me 45 minutes, and you cannot tell me that you don't have time. I have 2 kids. We have 2 companies. I have a husband. I have 2 dogs. Like we have, I mean, I don't have 7 kids. Like I know people have lots more on their plate than I do. I'm just saying that I have to make different decisions at night sometimes in order to be able to get up to do what I'm doing. And now my husband loves journaling, and our baby gets up at 6:30. So guess when we're getting up at 5? We're now getting up at 5. So that means we're not drinking wine at night and we're not watching a show. We're going to bed, because what really matters to us is having a life that we love. And our belief system shows up on those pages and shows up in the choices that we make, right? So I could also say, I'll use Derek as the example, is that he's been a little frustrated, not a little, very frustrated that like Dean just has like radar for him. And so he thought that, you know, getting up at 6 or 6:30 would be enough time for him to journal before the kids wake up. Well, Dean can smell him and he wants to play, right? And so Derek doesn't get to journal. And if he were to continue to not wake up at 5, which is when he needs to get up to journal, I would say that his belief system is that it doesn't matter, is that it's not going to change, is that he doesn't matter, right? So you start to look at your actions. Your actions don't lie. So if you have a belief system, or if you don't know what your belief system is, then that can be a really good way to determine whether or not, like, what is it that I believe? Like, how come, like, where are the areas of my life that I'm not satisfied with? Go look there and then see what your actions are. And that's where you can start to shift it. So Angela, this was your question. What's the best way to start this process? You have to start taking actions. You have to start taking actions that disrupt the patterns that you've been in. So especially Crystal, this is great for you with the Groundhog Day, like you being on this call right now. Absolutely. You journaling tomorrow morning. Absolutely. Like it's by changing an action. It doesn't need to be some big damn thing, right? It's just about changing an action so that you can start to see like, oh, this actually feels better. Like, so I got really, really sick. You guys know this, and had a stomach bug. And I have wanted to not just cut back drinking, I've really wanted to stop drinking for a while now, but you know, it just hasn't really happened. And I make it like it hasn't happened, like someone's doing it to me, like no one's forcing me to drink. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Except like that's the tool that I use to like wind down when the kids have been stressed out, whatever. Well, so here I get really, really sick. And what happens is I go and have a sip of wine after I've been sick. I practically spit it out in the sink. It tasted like lighter fluid. Something happened to my body composition while I was so sick that alcohol is disgusting to me right now. So that is one of those magical things that can start to happen where like now the belief system that I've had that work needs to be hard or take a long time, I would say is not true. It's challenging my former belief system that I used to have to work really hard. And I also thought that I had to be a sellout to be successful and make a lot of money. That's not the case anymore. And by taking out alcohol for me, it's just helped me turn up the lights a little bit more. So I would say also, Angela, and we've talked about this before, about blocks, like what are the blocks that you use in order to stay in your Groundhog Day? Start to remove some of those blocks. So it's all in action, okay? Okay, so then I have another question here. Let me just get it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so boundaries with your mother-in-law. This person wrote to me and said, you know, what do I do with a mother-in-law who has no boundaries and we are having our first baby? Well, I would get really clear with my partner what those boundaries are, but more than that, like, why do you want them? So something interesting that that was mentioned in the message is that, like, there was something, oh, here we go. Like that that the mother-in-law would give the child something that the parents wouldn't. Well, that's funny. So we live next to my mom is, you know, the boy's grandmother, and then Derek's parents live out in the academy 15 minutes away. I do not manage them at all. I don't think. Now, maybe I should bring them on the call. Maybe they would disagree. But I have said to my mom repeatedly, what y'all's relationship is between the two of you. I am not going to manage what you need to do or don't do with Jack or with Dean, really with Jack because he's older. So that means I think a lot of times ice cream, Peppa Pig, Bluey, like whatever the shows are, I will tell her if we have noticed a behavioral issue with him and we're decreasing the amount of TV. Then she'll only like, well, I watch one episode of Bluey. Like that's kind of how he winds down before he goes and takes a nap. So I just communicate like what's been happening in our house and how I think like things have been working or not working. And then I leave it up to the grandparents to work that out. And sometimes there are repercussions, right? Like when he comes home from the farm, like sometimes he's like really spinning out because I'm pretty sure he was living on fudgesicles. Mimi and Papa Joe, if you're watching, like I know y'all are giving him like a box of fudgesicles for a meal. And that's just part of it. Like that's the thing. I even warned this person, I was like, you might not like my coaching. I just think that grandparent relationships, they're just between the grandparent and the child. And I don't enforce a lot of boundaries there. And I also will say, I might have personal boundaries with people, but I don't enforce my boundaries with those people on my children, because I had the most amazing, magical relationship with my grandfather and with my grandmother. And that got cultivated by like private alone time with them. It wasn't in the presence of my parents. It wasn't, I mean, we watched like Golden Girls all the time and we were always eating ice cream and chewing bubble gum. And like, I was never allowed to do those things at my house. And like, those are the places where you like kind of let it rip and have those special moments with your grandparents. So that's my thinking around it. And if that really doesn't work, and I also know that like there have been other grandparent situations that I've watched with friends where, you know, there's a grandparent that may overindulge on the wine or, you know, whatever, and they've asked the grandparent to please not imbibe when they're with their kids. And I know for sure when my mom was with the boys, I don't think she drinks wine. So like those are really normal, like it clouds your judgment and like it makes you less patient. And let's face it, like with little kids, you need to be fucking patient. So I just find that like, you know, not drinking, like that's a pretty obvious one. And that's a normal thing to ask anybody who's watching your child, right? That they're not drinking or on prescriptions or whatever, like anything that would get in the way of like them being fully present. And that's a reasonable, super normal boundary, you know, to have. The next question that I got was like, how do you deal with a compulsive liar? And this is a really great kind of one to end on because we're going to start to wrap it up right now. And this isn't just for compulsive liars. This is really just for anybody, for anyone. So my dad always said, people will show you who they are. Your job is to believe them. So, you know, people can say all the time, like, oh, I'm here for you. Oh, you know, let me help, da, 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 da. I do not care about what people are saying. I care what the actions are, right? So like the people that show up for you, guess what? They're your people. They're the ones that are going to be there because they're actually doing the act. Because this voice, like all the words, it doesn't matter. Like none of it matters. None of anything that you want in your life matters without action. It's just up here. So what there is action. So with a compulsive liar, what I find is like, oh, that's just really good information for me to have, because then I have no expectation of that person telling the truth. So it's actually super helpful, because I just don't expect anything that they say to be 100% true. Like I have a very, very close relationship with a compulsive liar. It's not really a problem, but I don't pretend like I'm getting the full truth. So I think that's the thing, is like the awareness of it. I also have a lot of people in my life that, for some, they're like, how do you get along with that person? I'm like, well, I just don't expect them to be different than how they are. And then I just put them in this bucket of like, yeah, they'll just always kind of lie, but I'm not making them wrong about it, because it doesn't hurt me, because I don't expect them to tell the truth. So it's not really a problem. So again, like this goes back to what I was talking about with you, Jennifer, like the problems only exist when we say it's a problem, right? Like, I think this is probably presumptive, but in France, I think a lot of people have relationships and then they also have a lover. That's not really a problem, because culturally that's what they do. So it's only a problem if you thought you were in a monogamous relationship. Like I had a lot of Latin boyfriends. They were fantastic, except like I watched so many of them cheat. And I was like, well, that doesn't really work for me. So like, that's not really a type that like is very attractive for me to marry, right? Really great, really great in a lot of other ways. But like that for me was just something that like I saw this pattern and was like, oh, that pattern doesn't really work for me, and I want a monogamous relationship. There were also, I'm getting off on I'm going to go down a rabbit hole on that one, and then I'm not going to do that to you. So really just recognizing that like people are who they are, and our job is just to love everyone. It doesn't, yeah, Jay Wolf, you are terrible. It doesn't have to be a problem, right? You just know that. Like my mom sometimes will get upset with, a family member of ours. I'm like, why is it always like this? And da, 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 da. And I'm like, the real issue is that you want it to be different. That's the real issue. I don't have a problem with that person in our family, because I don't have an expectation of it being different. And I just get to love that person the way that they are and the way that they aren't. And once you give people that gift of like just loving them how they are, man, there's freedom. There's freedom for them. There's freedom for you, right? Because you're on this call for you, and for you to get that freedom is such a gift. So like, I don't have problems with people, because they're just how they are. And I can have them closer in my life or not closer in my life. And that's up to me, right? So I'm not a victim to a person or their lying or whatever. They just aren't in the inner circle in my life. That's no problem. Not everybody needs to be. Okay. Okay, you guys, that's what I have today. Did I miss anything? I think I got everybody. You guys want to unmute yourselves and video, and
God bless. Thank you very much.
thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I will be putting this recording up on YouTube, so you'll be able to see it. So if you forgot anything or you want to go back and watch anything that I said to you, do that. And you can also just always message me.
Thanks, Hannah, and thanks, Derek, too. I appreciate that, and gonna work on it. I'll report back.
Well, and I really want to thank you guys, because like, it's a big deal. Like we don't, you don't know each other. We're all here together. And this is why like group coaching is always my favorite, because like Crystal, you heard something in what Jennifer was saying. Jennifer, I know you heard
right.
Like that doesn't happen when it's like just one-on-one, which is why I love the group environment, because aren't we all like going through a different version of the same fucking thing?
Yeah.
Like, right? It's all just how we're designed. We just make meaning out of everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But see, the thing is, what's good news about that is you can change the meaning you make. Like you could look at Evangeline and be like, damn, she is feisty. Yeah, girl. Like, yeah. You're gonna light some shit on fire. I mean, maybe literally. Let's find out.
Okay, yeah, like let's not encourage arson. Thanks, Anna. Yeah.
Sorry. But see, the thing is, like, I like grew up always wanting to be perfect. So for me to hear your story about your daughter, there's not a problem. Because I'm like, yes, I fucking wish I would have been like that. Because then I wouldn't have had to go do that in my 20s.
Yeah.
That was so incredibly self-destructive and so not loving. Like she's doing it at your house where you can be there and safe.
Well, yeah. And I like that's in particular something that I've heard from other people before, like, hey, at least this is happening now while she's home with you. So you can,
you just got to redirect that energy. And
Right.
and it really comes from like you doing you. If
Yeah.
I were to have seen the women in my family be confident, which is always like the thing that's been missing. If I had seen their confidence, my life would have been radically different. I wouldn't have had to go cultivate it for myself later. And now my mom's like crazy confident, like such a badass. But that really wasn't what I saw growing up. So I did a lot of people pleasing because that's what I saw. And then that leaves me like over here by myself, like, because you're never going to make people happy. There's not. And it's not your job to. It's not.
Well, yeah.
So.
Well, I I really appreciate like actionable ideas, right? Because you hear a lot
Just
about
make a list.
right?
Well,
like,
and see, here's the thing, like, it's also like, what's not working for you? Ask her what's not working for her.
yeah. Well, right. No, that's good too. But even just honestly, Anna, like hearing you say, it's your house. And if it's not working in your house, then it's a problem. Like, that's
So
not something that I hear.
So I grew up with the head of a labor union. My dad was the head of the Airline Pilots Association.
Yeah.
So he recognized really early on that we were expensive.
Yeah. Kids
Did not like how that felt. So at like 10, 11, 12, some age like that, my dad was like, I figure I spend about like, I don't know how much on clothes. Let's call it $1,000, nice round number. He's like, so you spend $1,000 on clothes in the year and you can have that right now and manage it for the year. I was 10, y'all. Or I can give it to you every month, like $100 or whatever. Or I can give it to you, you break it up. And I was like, I would like it twice a year, $500 twice a year. And then I would do like a back to school shopping and then like spring shopping. And that's still kind of what I do, because my dad was teaching us early on to be responsible for the money that we had. And I didn't earn it. It was like, I'm going to be giving this to you anyway, but I don't want you to be asking me for things all along the way. And then you're not learning anything. We also had 3 requirements. We had to do something musical. We had to do something physical. Cheerleading did not count. But something physical. And we had to do something philanthropic to live in his house. That's it. Oh, and we had to make the highest grades that we were capable of, which for me was straight A's.
Yeah. That's highest grades that you were capable of.
That I was capable of. Mm-hmm. Now physics was a crapshoot. That wasn't great for me. That was but I made straight A's because my dad knew like that's what I was capable of. And he was like, all I'm interested in is you doing the best you can do. Right. And also I want you to be a whole, well-rounded person who gives back. So I don't believe that like just intellect is enough. I want you to have a musical and a physical experience of life.
Right.
So if you're going to live in my house, this is what you're going to do. That's it. It was not a big deal. It was not a big conversation. It was not a fight. I can remember dropping out of piano and he was like, okay, so now what are you going to do instead? And I was like, well, I really want to do choir. So I did choir instead. I was always a swimmer. I always had, I mean, now this didn't work as well for my sister. And she met that criteria. She didn't have straight A's, but she also wasn't, that wasn't the best. She like,
Yeah.
her version was different. She did a
Yeah.
lot more philanthropy than I did. I did a
Yeah.
lot more swimming.
Yeah.
She went and lived in Africa and built a school, raised $10,000.
Yeah.
She was like 14. It was amazing.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, but like,
But there was the
Yeah.
container. We had the container.
yeah, right. It's,
And then there was freedom within the container. But you know, when you can do anything in the world, that's actually quite horrible. This is
yeah.
really, like overwhelming.
I think it's probably safe to say we've done a bad job.
Yeah.
Of building a container.
Yeah, make the container. And you'll have to clean, you know, like I said, like expect for it to get worse before it gets better. And then you won't be disappointed. Like, oh, this is gonna get messy. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
approach it from a place of like curiosity and wonder,
Like like the
Like,
I
I wonder
wonder
how this is
phrasing,
gonna
I
go.
wonder phrasing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
then there's not the judgment. Like just catch yourself in it.
I wonder.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to keep the
Great.
call going for like another half hour.
Ah, But I have to go take some kids to the
Yes.
water park.
Right. Y'all go do it. Thank you. All right.
I
I'll
love
see
you
y'all later.
guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.